Hey, this is another in our series about goals and performance goals and scorecards, metrics, and so forth. So, if you're a leader, this applies to you because you need to manage this process. If you are an employee, a producer, if you will, then this is something that you should expect and should focus on and maybe include in your efforts. All right, what am I talking about today specifically? Goals and transparency around those goals. You know, we've been in environments, I know I have, you probably have as well, where, we've been given goals and it's like, where did that come from? There's no way I can achieve that. We've never done that before. They've been handed down from on high, right? Without any explanation or little explanation. We can't have that if we're going to be most effective. None of us. I don't care what our role is. I don't care what the application is that we're talking about. We need to know the why and the how behind the what. Okay. And so when I talk about transparency of goals, I'm really referring to this idea of A, let's talk about how did we get to that goal? How did we determine that goal? What was our process as an organization, as a team? Again, if you're a team leader individually, how did I arrive at this expectation for you? And we can do another whole video on this. I've worked with many organizations over the years on goal setting. And, so something like looking at history and not just a 12-month history, but the seasonality of history and identify, well, okay, in the first quarter, over the last 3 years, this is what we've done. Therefore, that's part of the formula for setting the goal for what we should expect to do next year in the first quarter. Okay? That's an example of the type of research, the type of thought process that we need to go through. Another aspect of that, in terms of transparency and then communication, is around, well, okay, maybe that's what we've done in the past, but what do we expect to be different in the future? Now, this could be positive or negative, right? Positive would be, hey, we're in a growing market. We've got a lot of new people moving into this market. There's a housing boom going on and it's bringing a lot of people in, or there's that new factory that just opened that's bringing a lot of workers, or the school is, really expanding and growing and so forth. That's a positive. A negative is, of course, the opposite of that. We've got a gentrified market. We've got a deteriorating environment in which we're working in. There's more people leaving this community than moving in. How do you expect us to grow as a result of that, et cetera, et cetera? So it's looking at history, but it's also preparing for the future. But being scientific about it, being transparent about it, just being open and honest about it and candid about it, I think is really critical. So if you're a leader, if you're the CEO, if you're the CFO, if you're the head of the branches or a head of lending, if you're a branch manager, you have to lead with this dialogue and with this conversation. Talk about not just what our goals are, but how did we get here? This is why we have this goal, okay? You're going to be so much more effective in not just delivering it, but then, of course, ultimately motivating your people to be successful in achieving that goal. If you are the lender, or if you're the banker, the FSR, the MSR, whatever, seek that out. If your boss doesn't give that to you, seek it out. And don't just seek it out at the beginning of the year, January or February when you get your goals. Kind of, revisit that from time to time. I think psychologically that can be really beneficial to help give you confidence that, okay, remember, Paul, this isn't just a goal that, they threw at the wall and it's the one that stuck. No, this has been done before, and therefore there is a path to success. Or no, we're in a growing market. I just need to figure out how to tap into the growth that's occurring in this market. So the transparency, the level to which we are open and candid about our goals and how they were determined and how they were established is vital to our success. If we don't do it, we're really positioning ourselves to not be successful.